Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jaya Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Nithai Gaura Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nithai Gaura Hare Bol. Jai Om Vishnupadaya Paramahamsa Parivrakacharya Aswatarabhaya Charanara Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. ISKCON Founder-Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Shri 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 Jagannath Baladesa Bhadra Maharani ki Jai. Shri 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 Gaurnitai ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Bala Bhagwan ki Jai. Narasingha Bhagavan. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 6, Text number 6. Asasana Jeevitam Advarasya.
Asasana Jeevitam Advarasya.
Asasana Jeevitam Advarasya.
Asasana Jeevitam Advarasya.
Loka Sapala Kupitana Asmin.
Loka Sapala Kupitana Asmin.
Loka Sapala Kupitana Asmin.
Loka Sapala Kupitana Asmin.
Tam Asudevam Priyaya Vihinam.
Tam Asudevam Priyaya Vihinam.
Tam Asudevam Priyaya Vihinam.
Tam Asudevam Priyaya Vihinam.
Shamapai Advam Hridividam Druktai.
Shamapai Advam Hridividam Druktai.
Shamapai Advam Hridividam Druktai.
Shamapai Advam Hridividam Druktai.
Asasana Jeevitam Advarsya. Asasana Jeevitam Advarsya. Loka Sapala Kupitana Asmin. Loka Sapala Kupitana Asmin. Tam Asudevam Priyaya Vihinam.
Tam Asudevam Priyaya Vihinam.
Tam Asudevam Priyaya Vihinam.
Tam Asudevam Priyaya Vihinam.
Shamapaya Advam Hridividam Druktai.
Shamapaya Advam Hridividam Druktai.
Shamapaya Advam Hridividam Druktai.
Shamapaya Advam Hridividam Druktai.
Asasana
Jivitam advarasya Loka sapala kupita nayasmin Tamashu devam priyaya vihinam Shamapayatvam hitividam durukte
Asasana jivita madvarasya Loka sapala kupitena asmin Tamasu devam priyaya vihinam Shama payadvam pritividam druktai Tamasudevam priyaya vihinam Shramapayatvam pritividam druktai. Matajis. Asasana jivitam madvarasya Kasapala kupitena asmin Loka sapala kupitena Vasudevam priyaya vinam Sakham ayatvam vidividam druktai Asasana jivitam advarasya Loka sapala kupitena yasmin Loka sapala kupitena yasmin Asasana. Wishing to ask. Jivitam. For the duration. Advarasya. Of the sacrifice. Loka. All the planets. Sapala. With their controllers. Kupite. When angered. Na. Not. Yasmin. Whom. Tam. That. Asu. At once. Devam. Lord Shiva. Priyaya. Of his dear wife. Vihinam. Having been deprived. Shamapayadvam. Beg his pardon. Hridi. In his heart. Vidam. Very much afflicted. Duruktya. By unkind words. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma also advised them that Lord Shiva is so powerful that by his anger all the planets and their chief controllers can be destroyed immediately. Also, he said that Lord Shiva was especially sorry because he had recently lost his dear wife and was also very much afflicted by the unkind words of Daksha. Under the circumstances, Lord Brahma suggested it would behoove them to go at once and beg his pardon. There is no purport for this text, so we move on to the next one. Naham na yagno nachayuyam anye ye deha bhajo muniyasta tattvam vidu pranamam bala virayorva yes atmatantrasya cha upayam viditset. The translation is, Lord Brahma said that no one, not even himself, Indra, all the members assembled in the sacrificial arena, or all the sages could know how powerful Lord Shiva is. Under the circumstances, who would dare to commit an offense at his lotus feet? Prabhupada, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. After Lord Brahma advised the demigods to go to Lord Shiva and beg his pardon, it was suggested how he would be satisfied and how the matter could be placed before him. Brahma also asserted that none of the conditioned souls, including himself and all the demigods, could know how to satisfy Lord Shiva. But he said, it is known that he is very easily satisfied. So let us try to satisfy him by falling at his lotus feet. Actually, the position of the subordinate is always to surrender to the Supreme. That's the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord asked everyone to give up all kinds of concocted occupation and simply surrender unto him. That will protect the conditioned soul from all sinful reactions. Similarly, in this case, Brahma also suggested that they go and surrender onto the lotus feet of Lord Shiva, for since he is very kind and easily satisfied, this action would prove effective. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Guru Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamana Tadati Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is talking about, actually the position of the subordinate is always to surrender to the Supreme. That's the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. So which verse does Srila Prabhupada mentions or means? Yeah, 18.66. Sarvadharman parinteksha mamekam sharanam rajaham tam sarva papebhyu mokshashyami ma sucham. Right? Krishna says abandon all types of activities, occupations, religious activities, and just surrender unto me. Do not fear, I will protect you. So Srila Prabhupada is talking about this. Right? So when it comes to surrender, now over a period of time, our Bhagavatam speakers have been talking, about the pastimes of Lord Shiva, So I don't want to dwell on that. So today what I thought is, because Srila Prabhupada is talking, emphasizing this point, surrender, right? Because here, Lord Brahma is requesting all the demigods, right, to go and beg for forgiveness. So basically, if someone does any offense or commits any mistake, normally in a Vaishnava culture, we have to ask for forgiveness from the person whom you have offended. Right? So this is the theme running around. So here, Srila Prabhupada talks about surrender. Surrender means surrender to Krishna or to his devotees, to his dear devotees. So this surrender is a very big word, actually, So we will try to, learn this process of surrender through stories from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Right? It will be easier to understand, right? See, what we mean surrender at this state, at this present state, is surrender means, someone takes a gun and surrender onto me, right? Then what you do? Surrender, right? So that is what we have, right? I think about 2 weeks back, couple of weeks back, when Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was there, he was mentioning how in this present day and age, right, there are so many problems. Okay, to add on to that, it's been analyzed that 2 more problems are there. It's added on to the list, which is threatening in the 21st century. Did anyone hear his lecture? What are the 2 points he said?
Neglection.
Sorry, Prabhu?
Neglect someone.
Yeah, terrorists, right?
Terrorist and rejection.
Fear of rejection. These are the 2 things that are threatening people in the 21st century, right? You can't go anywhere, terrorist activities. You have to, even if someone goes to the movie, they'll be thinking, what happens if someone places a bomb underneath my chair, So terrorist activity and fear of rejection. Because this material world, or this material energy of Krishna, gives a separate existence for the people, right? It gives separate existence from Krishna. Right? That, yes, I am like this, I am a man, I was brought up in this culture, so I'll behave like that. So it gives upadhis, it sets upadhis to personalities. Right? Yes, you are separate, you are distinct from Krishna. So what they do, yes, I will go and enjoy the material nature. But in fact, we are all part and parcel of Krishna. So the material energy very nicely covers the soul. And everyone thinks, yes, right? I am this body. Right? I am this mental concoction. Whatever the mind says, I will go. That's what, it does that. That's a trick of the material energy. We are going to see that soon. So, here we try to understand, surrender a little bit. So, what I was thinking is, very appropriate story, I thought, which will help me out, which will help all of us to understand about surrender, is from the 8th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Any guess? Gajendra story, yeah. We might have heard this story, many times, but still, it has got a lot of meaning and lessons. The Gajendra pastimes, right? Again, there's a lot of offense also involved in that. Now, Gajendra, in his previous birth, was King Indradumna. Once Agastya Muni and his followers came to his place. Right? Now King Indradumna, he retired according to the Vedic principles, and he was leading a very austere life after his retirement. That's the Vedic culture. So once Agastya Muni and his followers came to visit the king. But Indradumna Maharaj, right, he was so much, meditating on the Supreme Lord that he forgot the outside surroundings. So when Agastya Muni came, he was not being treated or respected properly. So he took it as an offense. He said, yes, I have come, but there is no proper reception from your end. So I curse you to be a dull-headed person. You become a dull-headed human, living entity in your next birth. So Indradumna Maharaj became an elephant in the next birth. So that's the story we are going to discuss. Now, this elephant, right, is not an ordinary elephant. He's a king of elephants, right? He's a king, So this was happening in the upper planetary system, not on the earth. Upper planetary system. He had lot of servants, elephant servants, wives, children and all that, right? He had a very, like any normal situation, right? He was very opulent. He was very opulent. He had a very, big family, money, prestige and all that. He was a king of the elephants. So, everyone listened to him, like that it was going on. So one day, what's happened is, he was, Gajendra took his family for a picnic. Like in summer is coming now. So we all are planning picnics, right? Even for the book distribution also. Once, it's over, people plan for a picnic after that, somewhere in January, So if you don't know, please ask the concerned person and you can also go for the picnic. But you should be careful when you go for the picnic. So that's a lesson here. So Gajendra thought, yes, Come on, I've got a big family, I'm very prestigious, I've got everything, servants and all that. Come on, let's go for a picnic. So they selected this lake, And then here, Gajendra was enjoying with his family, He was taking water and flashing on the family, his wife, and enjoying, And what happened? There was a crocodile in that clear, soft water, right? But Gajendra did not notice that, right? He was going a little bit deeper and he thought, okay, it's a good day, come on, it's not like today. Very, nice sunshine and all that, let's go and enjoy. So as he was going a little bit deeper into the river, one crocodile caught his leg. Then elephants, normally they're very strong, okay? Then what Gajendra thought is fine. Elephant, the crocodile caught me, I should be able to, get out from my end, okay? So what he did, he was trying to pull out his leg and trying to come out of that. But he could not. So he requested his servants, right, his friends and relatives, come, let's pull. So they came from behind and started to pull the Gajendra, the elephant. But crocodile was very strong, very powerful. It is said that crocodile is a water animal. It's very strong in water. And elephant is on the land. So it becomes weaker in water, right? On the land, elephant is very powerful. But in water, it's not as powerful as on land. But the crocodile, it's very strong in water. So it's trying to pull, in spite of many of his friends helping Gajendra to pull out, it was in vain, right? The crocodile was not leaving. Then what happened? They left. Then the family members, right? They thought, okay, let me go and help him out, okay? So the wife and the husband, they were pulling. It was still not good enough, right? The crocodile was pulling. Then, see, the friends pulled out. The family members also pulled out because it was ineffective. Then, what Gajendra thought is, fine. Now, how long can the crocodile, can hold my leg? At one point, it should become weak or become tired, right? So, it's going to leave. At that time, I take the opportunity to come out. So, he was very confident on himself. So, he did not want to try any other means. Fine, let me try my own means and get out. So, what happened? In this way, Gajendra was thinking, yes, I will fight on my own. And this fight went on for 1,000 celestial years. Very long time. So over this time, what happened? Gajendra became weaker and weaker. The crocodile became stronger. And then at one point, he thought, yes, he was scared. He was afraid of his death. He said, I am gone. I cannot survive. Because the crocodile is very powerful. And almost, is becoming stronger and stronger. So at that point, what did he do, Gajendra? What we will do and what Gajendra will do. What we will do is normally, we will, if people are very in the mode of goodness, they will seek the help of demigods. Normal human beings, right? Coming to Krishna is, seeking his help is very rare. Right? But Gajendra, he did not approach any demigods like Brahma or Lord Shiva. They would have come for his rescue. He thought, yes, it's not worth it because he learned a heavy lesson there. Okay? So what he did was, he offered a flower to Lord Vishnu, offering prayers. Because in his previous birth, right, he remembered a lot of prayers and he offered. Right? Now immediately Lord Vishnu, right, appeared because he was very sincere in his prayers, as the Lord does. He came and severed the head of the crocodile. The crocodile was actually a Gandharva, a celestial man. So he got his body and he went back to the celestial planet. But Gajendra got liberation. What kind of liberation he got? Sarupya liberation. He got the same form as the Lord. And then he went back to the Lord. The Lord put him in an aeroplane and sent him back to Vaikuntha. Yeah, that's what he did. Now, what are the lessons we learn from this? It's a small story, right? It's a very small story. So, what happens is, now the Gajendra, right, he was going step by step forward into the river, right, without knowing. Now, in the same way, we also proceed in our life, isn't it? Now, every step we don't know. The next step could be a problem for us. But we think that, yes, we are all fine. Because, as Krishna points out, this world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam, right? So, the agents of misery is planted in this material world. Right? How it is planted? In the form of earthquake, terrorist activity, natural disasters. So, threefold miseries are there. Trouble caused by the own body and mind, trouble caused by other living entities, trouble caused by demigods. See the weather. Yesterday I heard someone, some person was coming, taking prashadam and all that. I heard them, they were speaking, they were talking. They were saying, oh, this is summer, winter. But I've never seen, raining like this, in summer. Normally in winter it rains, but in summer it doesn't rain like that. Oh, it's too much rain, They were just talking to themselves. So I overheard the conversation. I was thinking, yes, the material world, you expect the unexpected. It's what happens in the material world, right? You expect the unexpected. Now, moreover, in this case, Gajendra, he did not approach for demigods. He directly worshipped the Supreme Lord. So, and because of that, he got the... he not only was saved, but also got liberation. This material world, right, what it gives is, it gives a false hope. As long as we believe to the false hope, one cannot surrender to Krishna. That is what it does. Hopes after hopes it gives. So once when someone is listening to that hopes, right, which is a concocted one, it's not possible to surrender to Krishna. So one has to be very careful with what kind of movements and concoction the mind is concocting. See, basically the mind is like a container. It's basically like a container. It contains previous memories, previous activities, previous habits. That's all it is. And it's a reflection. It keeps on reflecting the past. Right? Now this container of the mind, right, which is from the past reactions or past impressions, this has to be wiped out. The only way you can wipe out all these impressions, right, from previous millions of births we have been there. Say, how long do Brahma live for? 311 trillion years. Isn't it? Right? And we have passed this material, we have been in this material world for thousands of Brahmas have finished the durations. Not one Brahma. So imagine, we have been, Nitya Baddhas. We don't want to make an attempt to go to Krishna. So all these impressions are there in the mind. Unless the mind is clear, one will not be able to realize or know about the soul, because the mind blocks. The only way for the soul to come out is through the mind. External world, it comes out through the mind. That's the only way. And if the mind is completely covered with a glass, with the filter, then one acts according to that. So in Purujana Prabhu, one of the retreat, he was talking about, how about the filters, right? If I'm wearing a blue glass, okay, blue specs, covered, glass covered with blue lens, then everywhere I'll be seeing blue color. Likewise, red color. So if your mind is in the mode of goodness, what it does? You don't want sense gratification. You will be interested in the development of soul. That's all your main goal is. You may have some side activities, to support your family. But the whole goal is development of soul. How we are soul. So how the soul is connected. What we should do. So this is in the mode of goodness. In the mode of passion. Because in the mode of goodness, one will follow religious principles very properly. Right? Religious principle properly. Now, when the mind is covered with mode of passion, what happens? Active. Too much active for material things. Very active for material things. I want this. Very active nature. And they are termed as semi-religious. They may or may not know what is right, what is wrong. They don't know. They don't know what is right and wrong. So hence they are semi-religious. So instead of coming towards Krishna, their goal is material. I want money, I want this, overactive. Then in the mode of ignorance, what happens? The mind is inactive and dull. Because of too much sense gratification, right? The mind becomes dull. You see, we have got eyes, we can see what's going around, right? Too much of sense enjoyment. The mind becomes dull. Even though it is coming through, the soul is coming through the mind, it is dull, inactive. I don't want to work. I cannot do this. I cannot do. This is dullness, mode of laziness. This is mode of ignorance. But how one is going to clear this mess, which we have done it in the past? We have done it. We are responsible for our action. Right? A living entity is responsible for action. And that is why we got this body based on the previous activities. And hence the mind is conditioned. We get a body based on the previous activities. We also get a mind based on previous activities. Hence the mind is conditioned. We get a particular nose, particular eyes, particular body based on the previous activities. Hence, we also get a mind condition based on the previous activities. Right? It may be goodness. One may be interested in the development of the soul, or it may be in the mode of passion, overactive for material things. It never stops. Or inactive dullness. One of the three. So the mode of passion, they have to slow down. Then they can slowly come down, and then there is a good chance of coming to mode of goodness. Right? All they have to do is slow down a little bit. Come on, take it easy, cool down. But mode of ignorance, very difficult. Completely covered, thick. So, one has to carry out, what the point I was telling is how the mind has to be cleared. The only way how the mind has to be cleared, or the mind will be cleared, is through chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Cheto Darpana Marchan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, once this process of Krishna consciousness, what it does is, knowingly or unknowingly, it clears your mind. We may not know how powerful it is. Right? Day in and day out we may hear. Right? Someone may be talking, we may be doing, but we don't know the importance of it. No, without your knowledge, it clears your mind. Just like, whether you know the potency of Panadol or not, it works for pain. In the same way, this is all powerful. Slowly it clears the mind impression. Slowly, over a period of time. Very, very slowly, It's not overnight. It's a very slow process. So what happens when the mind is clear? As the mind is clear, you're able to see the soul. You're able to release the soul. You're able to understand that you're a spirit soul. It's a very, very slow process. As it goes, then you're doing devotion service also, and then you realize. So for us, the activity should be more on Krishna conscious side. Because we have chosen a wrong field of activity. See, actually, we are spirit soul, right? What we should do? We should only do devotion service. But we are embodied, okay? We can't do only devotion service. Even though we are soul, we are embodied, right? So we have to do conditional activity and constitutional activity. But if you do more conditional activity, then what happens? Constitutional activity will come down. you will not realize you are the soul. Right? So always, the spiritual side should be on the higher side than the material. Because the material energy, the spiritual energy, they are all coming from Krishna. Right? The Maya is Lord's own energy. It is designed for a particular purpose. Srila Prabhupada gives an example. Electricity is there, right? Same electricity. If you use it in the heater, it becomes, it produces hot air. If you use it in the air conditioner, it produces cool air. Same energy, right? So all the energies are coming from Krishna. But Krishna uses this material energy for what? For learning lessons. Learning lessons. So slowly, people know, yes, I've learned my lessons in this world. And then slowly they'll change. Maya is kept such that people learn lessons and then change towards Krishna. It's Lord's own energy. But it's kept for a purpose. Both the energies of the Lord, material energy, and both are like tsunami. Right? We have to make a decision. This material energy will take you like that. And the spiritual energy will also take. So, a living entity, as Srila Prabhupada points out very clearly, it is subordinate. We are, what is our size? Very, very small, isn't it? Right? So, we are always controlled by either the Lord's material energy or spiritual energy. We don't have freedom. We don't have a freedom. Small child is there, right? Will the parents leave the small child to go on their own? No, it's always protected. In the same way, Krishna sees us as a very tiny, insignificant soul. We may have false ego and we may think, yes, I am the, electrical engineer. I'm a computer engineer. Right? I'm a civil engineer. We may think. But how Krishna sees us? How Krishna sees us? Does he see us as an electrical engineer? Or a computer engineer? Or a Prime Minister of India? Or, President of US? How does he see? As a spirit, soul. Part and parcel of me, Krishna. That's how he sees. So, people who are disobedient to the instructions of Krishna, they will be put in the material energy. People who do not follow the instructions of Krishna, they put into the material energy. So one will say, so what? So I'm fine. It's not fine, because if you are put in the material energy, you have to go through 7 problems in life. What are the 7 problems? Birth, death, old age, disease, Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik, Adi Devik. 7 kinds of problems. One has to go through that. One has to die. See, now the body may be young, okay, or it's not very bad, but it will go slowly changing. The body is changing all the time. One has to go through old age. One has to die. And it's not easy, right? Whatever, say, you can part with some money, but the body, throughout your life, this body one has to part. Because it's a combination of matter, gross matter and subtle matter. It's a combination. A soul is covered by the 2 layers, right? So it's a combination of gross matter and subtle matter. So one has to give up this identity. How it's easier? If you establish yourself as a soul, then very easily you can give up the identity, isn't it? Right? Prabhu's mobile phone, right, is very good, nice with cover and all that. Now, if I borrow the mobile phone and I'll say, it is mine. Okay? It is mine because I like it. If I'm attached and I don't give it to him, what will happen? Right? He may say, okay, Prabhu, you take it. But I have to give it to him. He will wait for one day, and then what happens? He will call the police, He will say, right? I am forced to give. So in the same way, if you establish as a soul, it's very easy to give up this body when you die. Very easy, right? Because, you just do your duty in the mode of goodness. then it's very easy to give. Otherwise, very difficult. We don't know also, what's the time. Now, Gajendra, right, in this story, he did not know that what will happen to what is going to happen in the next step. The one step, was better. Next step was okay. And the third step was a disaster for him. He never knew, right, how the agents of Maya is going to work. So, these agents are inbuilt into the world. One has to understand that. It is not that this is a place of enjoyment. It is a inbuilt suffering is there. So, in our case, the choice we have is either to be Krishna conscious or Krishna conscious. There's no choice. That's the choice we have got. Either you can start the process today morning or today evening. That's the choice we have got. We don't have much choice. Because it's a disaster on the other side. Now here you see the story how Gajendra surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Okay? And you see the effect he got. He got the result he got, right? He was not only relieved of his material problem, but he also got a spiritual destination. Right? Yes? No? Right? Isn't it? That's a result. Now let us see one more example where a person did not surrender to the Lord and see the reaction he got directly to Krishna. That's a very good story too. Now this is happening in the 10th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Alright? Now what's happened was Akrura, right? See, Kamsa had a plan, right? He wanted to kill Krishna. But Krishna's plan is to kill Kamsa, right? So at that time, Kamsa devised a plan to bring Krishna to Mathura. All of you know this story, right? Yes. So when Akrur was an agent, Krishna wants Akrur to bring them, okay, to Mathura. Akrur also brought Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd friends to Mathura. Then when the Lord and Balaram, right, and all the associates, when they came to Mathura, the Lord said, okay, let me have a look at Mathura. It's a city, like when we come to Melbourne, let's look at the city. And then you will know, yes, it is raining 48 hours. No good. Okay. So the Lord thought, okay, let me have a look at Mathura. Let's see how it is. Okay. Then as they were going, they saw a washerman. Anyone know the story here? Some men. So the washerman was washing, right? Those days, the washerman will wash, he will do the dye and all that, Now if you want a blue color shirt, you have to go to the, Myers and get it. Those days, you have to dye. Like initial stages also, even now also, our Brahmachari, they take the white clothes and dye it. Huh? So it's like, so those days, the washermen used to dye their clothes, like that, blue clothes, green and all that. So this particular washerman was doing that very variety of clothes and he was also washing. He has some servants and all that. He was like, he was very proud because he was doing the service for Kamsa, the king of Mathura. Anyone like, king's servant. So he's very, proud and he was washing. Krishna and Balaram, they were walking through and they saw this washerman, a nice dress. Now Krishna thought, okay, I would like to wear a couple of Kamsa's dress. Okay. The Lord, he can desire anything he wants. See, the thing is, if Krishna desires, right, what will happen? It will happen. Things will manifest. But if we desire, mostly it will not happen. Mostly it will not happen. Maybe sometimes it will happen, but mostly it will not happen. Right? There's no impediment for Krishna because everything is energy. It works for him. So Lord thought, okay, I want but he was telling Balaram, and Balaram was saying, okay, we wear this dress and that dress and all that. Then they went to the washerman. Then they asked washerman, please, can you give those dress to me? Krishna said, and the Lord said, if you give the dress to me, you will benefit in this life and next life also, just by giving the dress. That's what Krishna said. Very simple answer, Krishna was very smart. So this Balaram was also there. Then the fisherman, the washerman looked at them and he said, they were all coming from the village, with very dusty clothes and all that. Then he took Krishna to be like an ordinary person, right? He's seeing the supreme personality of Godhead, the all-attractive personality. He's standing in front of them, right? Lord is non-different, the complete transcendental form, When he comes with his own same form. He doesn't change his form. Same form. So this person said, get away, boys. What do you think you are? You are asking the clothes of the king, Kamsa. What do you think you are? If at all, if Kamsa comes to know that you have taken the clothes, right? Or if you are going to talk, if you got a plan to take the clothes, he will arrest you and he will punish you appropriately. Be careful, okay? Not even mention that. I will forgive you. Just get away. Go away from my eyesight. Don't even ever ask this kind of thing. I will immediately call the king and they will arrest you, Then Krishna looked at Balaram. Then they're passing signals, with the eyes. Then Krishna thought, okay, I just asked you, I was not very rude, okay? Krishna was thinking, I just asked you something. I told you also, if you give, you will benefit and it will be great reward for you, this birth and also next. But you refuse. So Krishna got slightly, agitated. Then you know what the Lord did? Tip of the finger, right? The washerman was there. Krishna did like this, just with his gentle, fingers, the tip of the nail. The washerman's head flew away, like Sudarshan Chakra. Just like this, finished, gone. So, what do you know from this? Brahma is saying, what did he say? Anga niyasya sagalendriya vritti manti pashyanti pashyanti vishanti pashyanti ananda chinmaya sad ujjvala vigrahasya govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. So, Krishna can do anything, or in any of the senses can be interchangeable. He can do anything. He doesn't need a knife to cut. With the tip of the nails, he did like this, and the fisherman, looking at that, the assistant flew away. I don't want this. Then what happened? The Lord went and took all the dresses and they were wearing. Krishna wore a few dresses, and then Balaram wear a few dresses, and then they gave it to the cowherd boys. Okay, please wear whatever dress you want. Then Krishna said, I asked him nicely. He did not give. Look at the punishment, Lord. So, anyway, everything belongs to him. The choice for us is, you give lovingly to him and you get. So what happened? You will get nice reward in this birth, next birth. But if you refuse, what will happen? Washerman's problems. That's what will happen. Then, incidentally, what happened? As they were wearing the dress, right? One more weaver man. A man, in those days, right? They used to weave the clothes. And all the clothes, like they used to weave it through the bamboo, They used to have a machine made up of bamboo, and they do like this and make the clothes. Nowadays, you've got this hand loom and whatever machine loom, They're all done by machine. People don't know how to do the stitching. They don't know stitching also now. All they go to the tailor. Okay? So this weaver man, he came by. He saw Krishna and Balaram wearing nice dresses. He said, oh, so nice, Lord. You look very nice. He said, I have made a cloth for you, right? Very nicely from my own hand. I weaved it. I would like to give this. And I want to also see you that how you wear when I give this dress to you. Please can you wear? Out of love he gave. Right? Then Krishna accepted. Okay, I'll accept it. And then for that the Lord said, okay, you have done something out of love to me, I'll accept it. And because of that, what will happen? You will get long life, opulence, wealth. And next birth also you will be taken care of. You will be liberated. See? Just by giving one cloth with love to Krishna. Look at the powerful effect of that. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks about the fisherman. He says, this fisherman, don't underestimate him. It's not easy for someone to see Krishna directly. Right? If Krishna is coming directly in person to him, he is not an ordinary person. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this washerman, for millions of life, thousands and thousands of life, he was worshipping the Lord. Oh Lord, please, I want to have darshan of you. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, who is none other than Krishna, oh Lord, I want to see you in person. So thousands and thousands of lives he worshipped Krishna. Now Krishna came, to him to reciprocate. See, the Lord reciprocates. As you surrender, so he shall reciprocate. If you surrender to Krishna 5%, he will reciprocate 5%. If you surrender to Krishna 10%, he will reciprocate 10%. That's how Krishna's nature is that. Because he's a person. He's not a stone or anything. He's a person. Radha Vallabha is a person. Gaurnita is a person. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra is a person. They are taking the preparation done by the devotee, the reciprocating, and by eating the prasadam, we become pure. So are they stone and wood or persons? By giving to the Lord, we take prasadam and we become pure. So how powerful is their person? There are 7 people living there, right? In this temple, it's not plus 8 also. Srila Prabhupada also. 8 people are living here in this temple, for your information. So, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord himself, he says, what he says is, this washerman, he has done lot of pious activities and worshipped me just to have a darshan. But because of one mistake, what is that mistake? He joined Kamsa and he stopped my worship. He became a non-devotee. And this is a punishment I give it to him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? So the association is very important. You may worship. See, in the previous birth, I may not be. I don't know. I would have been a devotee. But this birth, how I conduct myself. So Lord gives us a nice birth and association. But if you don't make use of the association, if you go into the wrong association, finish. This life is gone. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that. So now here we see surrender, right? Where Gajendra, he did not surrender to demigods. He surrendered to Supreme Personality of Godhead, for which his miserable condition was eliminated. He got also liberation in the next birth. The washerman, he did not surrender to the Lord. Even though the past activity, he was a devotee. But due to the wrong association with Kamsa, right? He did not respect the Supreme Lord, for which he got the punishment. Short life, suffering also. But the weaver, very simple. Because of his affection and love for the Lord, he was given long life, wealth, power, and liberation in the next birth. So, I need not have to explain this. This is in the 8th canto and the 10th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So, what is for us? What is the advancement for us in Krishna conscious? The advancement for us in Krishna conscious is not the number of years we are in Krishna conscious, or the number of verses we know, or the number of the positions or the popularity. That is not important. Advancement is not that. I've been here for a long time. I know number of verses. I know, upside down, Brahma Samhita. No. Advancement means which comes out of surrender. And the 3 things comes out of surrender. Right? It may be different levels. Okay? What are the 3 things that comes out of surrender? A genuine surrender or a total surrender? One does service to Krishna and finds pleasure. He wants to serve Krishna and finds pleasure. This comes naturally. It's not a talk, right? It's not written in books only. It comes naturally, right? Due to the service, due to the surrender, he serves Krishna and pleases Krishna and he gets reciprocation. 1. And 2, he requests the Lord to make friendship with the Lord's devotees. Without making friendship with the Lord's devotees, one cannot progress. Right? 2. And third thing is, he requests the Lord to bestow him so that he is compassionate to all the living entities. One may think, yes, I am compassionate. If you are compassionate, then one should take up this preaching process very seriously, in whatever way. Not just sitting on a Vyasasana and talking. It could be any way, In your office, you can start, giving some prasadam. Or Harinam, distributing of holy name. So what is Krishna conscious? What is preaching? Preaching means 3 things. Distribution of the holy name, distribution of prasadam, and distribution of Krishna's knowledge. Bhagavad Gita. This is all preaching. So, the devotees, they request the Lord to get compassionate nature. Then only you can preach. You cannot preach if you are not compassionate. In a small level, right? You do not have to go and become a Founder-Acharya of, a new temple. No, small level. Start from home. Charity begins at home. Small level. Final instruction or a final warning or a final statement is that Krishna will not accept anything short of total surrender. Unfortunately. That is how it works, right? He will not settle Krishna. If you want love from Krishna, he will not settle anything less than total surrender to him. Because with the material energy is very tricky. Then you slowly dive and go inside and go away. Because as I said, it's a tsunami. So Krishna wants only his side, the current going towards his side. For that, one has to control the mind. Because the mind is a root cause and nonsense. Mind is a nonsense. It's the root cause of all problems. Right? So one controls the mind. How do one control? By Maha Mantra. The greatest mantra. Man means mind. Tra means to deliver. The only way you can control this Hare Krishna. There is no other way. You can try a lot of other things. You cannot. Only by chanting Krishna's name, one can control the mind. And once when the mind is controlled, liberation. Because scriptures say, what do the scriptures say? Uncontrolled mind, cause of bondage. Controlled mind, cause of liberation. As long as the mind is not controlled, no liberation. Because, why no liberation? Because the mind is a material product. It is not spiritual. The mind wants, what does the mind want? See, mind wants, correct. It wants enjoyment. Right? The dharma of the mind is enjoyment. What is the dharma of the soul? The dharma of the soul is service. The dharma of the mind or the dharma of the salt is saltiness. The dharma of the sugar is sweetness, right? Like that, the dharma of the mind is enjoyment. That is why Krishna has given 10 senses for you. Not one senses, 10. I enjoy. Mind wants to enjoy. If you keep on seeing movies, keep on enjoying. So the mind wants enjoyment. So a devotee does not want enjoyment. So he don't want the nonsensical mind. As long as one, right, goes with the nonsensical mind, enjoyment only. Because dharma of the mind, it wants to see figures. It wants to taste food. It wants to hear music. Mind. Everything mind. So, as long as the mind, so therefore Krishna explains that one has to control the mind by how? By regulating the senses. The senses are there. If you don't regulate, it keeps on going. It wants more and more. Regulation of the senses. Regulation of senses and the mind will be controlled. And once when the mind and the senses are controlled, which is the senses means gross body. Because this body is a bag of senses. What is this body? It's completely only senses. So gross body is full of senses. Subtle body is again a subtle sense, mind. So the mind and senses are controlled, then one can realize you're a spirit soul. And then one can proceed the journey. And this is exactly what Krishna wants. He will not want anything less than total surrender. He will not settle for it. Then he will say, you're not ready. Okay, go and come enjoy. Once you say, yes, Krishna, I want to surrender, in a small way. Now, again, finally, to finish off the surrender topic, surrender means, as I said, it's a very high level, and it's not that giving everything. No, in a small level you can surrender. For example, again in Krishna's pastime, that lady which was selling fruit seller lady, right? She was untouchable. She's coming from the jungle, okay? And she's got a lot of fruits. But she had an intention to give to Krishna. So she came and she said, Krishna, please take whatever fruits you want. But the love was so intense. Imagine, that is a total surrender she did at the time. Because she's not a computer engineer. She's not a Kshatriya like Arjuna to, pull arrows. For her level, is just a simple lady without education. She knows only to pluck the fruit, put it in the basket and to sell. And her total surrender is to completely give the love and give whatever she has earned for the day to Krishna. And Krishna was completely satisfied. And he reciprocated how? He took one with the hands, he took some to the mother, and all the fruits were falling down. And she was just wondering, oh, how Krishna, so nice, beautiful boy. All the fruits are falling. Then finally when he went, he took only one fruit to the mother. And, Yashoda was quite happy, And looking at this, Lord was also happy internally. But he's coming as a child, And then the Lord was so happy that immediately the next minute, all her basket changed into beautiful jewels, diamond. Fruit basket, which is worth about $10, became $10 million. This is the power of Krishna. He can do anything. But we have got limitations. So, in Arjuna's case, the total surrender is, because he is a very powerful person, he is a Kshatriya, Krishna said, okay, shoot arrows. That's a surrender. According to the level. If you are a Brahmana, your surrender is to teach, do deity worship, preach. Kshatriya, do some administrative work. That's your surrender, And then, Vaishya means businessman. You do nice business, give money to Krishna for preaching. You are a Sudra. Do some service, Do clean, sweep the floor. That's the total surrender. Surrender is not that, a Sudra has to become a sannyasi and to worship. No. Your own level, surrender. This is what Krishna says. He knows the capability and the incapability of humans, right? He knows, he sees. As Paramatma, he knows everything. The Lord is present as Paramatma. He knows everything. And accordingly reciprocates. Okay, I have given you this body. In this body, you can do only so much limitation. So do that fully, to the fullest satisfaction. And please me, love me. Proposal. Bhagavad Gita is a proposal. It's a love story. Krishna is proposing to everyone. Do you love me? Do you love me, Can you love me? This is a proposal. If you love me, come to my abode. See? This is what it's a love, Bhagavad Gita. Love. Can you love Krishna dearly? Okay, so we will stop here. Thank you very much. Tantra Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Any questions, comments, corrections? Quickly. Yes, Prabhu.
You said if Krishna reciprocates according to your surrender.
Yes.
So if you surrender 5%, Krishna reciprocates 5%.
Yes.
But there is also a statement saying you take one step towards Krishna, Krishna will take 10 steps towards you. So he does 10 times more to you than what you do to him.
That also just shows, the scriptures shows the compassionate nature of Krishna. Right? So at different levels, the different points have been addressed. So for initial persons, who are making progress, then Krishna will help them out, as an incentive, For example, if a small child is there, we will try to give them sweets first. We don't give them rice and all that, an incentive. So initially, when you come, Krishna puts a lollipop in your mouth. And then as you go, He'll say, you're becoming older. Why do you want lollipop? He takes a lollipop out. And then little bit of more service for me. And then, if you do something on back, what do you think you are? But Krishna, first you gave me lollipop. Yes, that was time before. But now, no lollipop. He's a person. He wants to correct you. He's more interested in you going to back to God than you. We don't want. We want a better situation in the material world, which will never happen. Right? We want better situation. One house. One more house in Albert Park. Please, one more house in Point Cook. I'll be happy. Where does it desire? Where does it go? Right? That's because of the mind. But advanced devotees, right? People are very advanced. They will never trust their mind. It's very, surprising for us, right? All the time we are depending on our mind, very elevated personalities. They will not trust the mind. Srila Prabhupada will never trust. His mind is completely spiritual anyway. So they will not trust the mind. Because 1 minute, mind will say, for enjoyment, finished, gone. And then it's tsunami, it goes. So one will never trust the mind, advanced devotees. But it's very initial stages, like that. You know what I mean? It's an incentive Krishna gives Prabhu. But the general rule is, as you surrender, so I shall reciprocate. That's what he said in the Bhagavad Gita. That's what is correct. But this is some incentive, little bit here and there. But he observes everything. As a devotee, he knows everything. He knows, and he knows more what we want than we do. Right? This guy needs a slap. This guy needs a correction. He pat on the back, He knows everything. Pakka. 100%. We think that we want Krishna to come in the front and Krishna will come in the back and slap us like that. So all we will do. It's not according to our plans, according to how his this. Because as you know, the fisherman, the washerman, he killed. And anyway, Krishna got the clothes. Right? What the washerman could have done is, he could have simply said, okay, Krishna, I don't like you, but still take some dress. Something he could have done. I'm just saying. He did not do that. So he got a punishment. Life is gone. Short life. If you worship Krishna, long life. Because devotees are in the mode of goodness. Mode of goodness means what Krishna says in the 14th chapter. Mode of goodness means duration of life is more. Krishna says, how? Because they eat food which is juicy, fatty, and wholesome. Right? Big prasadam they take wholesome. So, in the mode of goodness, your life increases. In the mode of, Krishna explains, the mode of ignorance, the life decreases. And if you are not a non-devotee, no life at all. Okay, Prabhu, is that okay? So the general rule is, as you surrender, I shall reciprocate. That's the general rule. Yeah.
Since Krishna killed washerman, he must have got liberated also.
Exactly, that's what washerman, he got liberated, yes, because when the Lord touches, yes. But if you are a devotee, the liberation is different to if you are a non-devotee. But nevertheless, he may get the Brahman realization because of the power of Krishna.
So in our story, the washerman got liberated and the flute lady only got jewels. So
Flute lady also will be liberated in the next birth. For this birth, she got opulence to live, long life, and next birth. If you are a devotee, this birth, opulence, everything, and next birth you are going back to God. See? What a deal, no? That's what Krishna... Because Krishna is not a small person. He doesn't compromise with you for $1, 1 cent. His thinking is very high, You know what I mean? Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. Unlimited person. Unlimitedly powerful Krishna. He's not like what you see him, here. Unlimitedly powerful. Unlimitedly. You cannot even understand what it is. Universes are coming from his body. Yet he is a small boy. He is crying in front of his mother. Very, very, very powerful. All Vishnus are coming from him. So it's very difficult. So Krishna's level is, that high. We are like, Krishna is, imagine he's on Mount Everest. We are like a small ant. This is our consciousness. Krishna's consciousness is so high and he sees everyone as a soul and so compassionate. We are all children. Imagine a family can have 5 children, 10 children, right? Can you have millions and millions and billions and trillions of children? How powerful he should be, isn't it? In the olden days, we'll say, oh, this person has got 8 children. He'd be very, wealthy. But everyone belongs to Krishna's children. So how powerful should be, And he's also producing. He can, just by his desire, he can produce anything. He need not have to work hard like that. If you want to eat prasadam khichdi, someone has to make an offer and then easy for us to put into the mouth. But Krishna, if he decides, the material energy will manifest. Or spiritual energy will manifest for him. Anything he can do. Okay, Prabhu?
Question, Prabhu. You made a point that the soul manifests through the mind. Can you explain a little bit about that? You made a point that the soul manifests through the mind.
Not manifest. The only way for the soul to come out, the soul is dormant, okay? The soul is spiritual, it's dormant. The only way it is coming out is through the mind. Or the effect of the soul. Consciousness is coming through the mind. So that is why the mind is dull matter, right? Mind is matter. How can the mind think? Because it's coming through the soul, the mind behaves like a person. And Acharya has given an example, right? If a current, electricity passes through the wire is no longer a wire. It has got current. It behaves like a current, no? But the moment you stop the electricity, what happens? The wire is normal. But as long as a current is passing through the wire, it behaves like a live current, no? Wire. In the same way, as long as soul is there, mind is a person. So again, Acharya has explained that one should treat the mind as a person. So inside the body, we have got 3 people. Right? One is a mind, unruly mind, or adamant person. You have to control. Then is your soul, which is you're the natural person, who is a devotee of Krishna. Mind is a non-devotee. You are a devotee. And super soul is there, watching you, guiding you. Because you're very tiny. Krishna doesn't want you to leave. Because he has declared that you are tiny. Because you are tiny, you need my presence. So Krishna is like a driver. He's driving the car. And you are like a passenger. Krishna, go to the Albert Park. He will go as a Paramatma. Krishna go to casino. He will go. You cannot ask the driver, why did you go to casino? Because I am a driver. I am a body. Yantra Rudhani Maya. Like a material body, I am situated there, Krishna explains. And whatever the wanderings of the living entity, I will fulfill that. So our desire, he doesn't change it. But if you are a devotee, he will say, come on, don't go to casino. Come to my temple. See, this is how Krishna does for a devotee. But non-devotee is neutral. Where do you want? You want to go to a pub? I will drop you. Right? Because he is driving the car as though seated in the heart as super soul. We are passengers. We are telling Krishna where to go. So if we tell Krishna, I want to come to your temple and all that, then Krishna is very happy driving. And then he will take you directly to Goloka with a car. He can't do anything. Okay, Mataji, explain. Thank you. Hare Krishna. See, Hare Krishna. See, the material world, I said problems, no? I have a problem myself, small problem, quick problem. One may be wondering, what is this? Because I had some issues with my eyes, okay? And then the doctor said, yes, you need, eyes is some, it's rubbing and all that. So they put a gel or something. They gave me a gel. I'm telling out the reaction. Now, when I put the gel I was putting for nearly a couple of months. Then what happened? The duct got blocked. There is a duct, I believe. So because I put the gel, because of my irritation, it blocked the duct. And now they're saying there's a small surgery you have to do for the duct. Because the excess of water is coming, it's not going in the duct. A very small surgery. So this is how the material world is. You do one thing and some other reaction happens. Padam. Okay. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Morning Class.